What about like the child?
Yes.
Shining the light on child.
Wait, when? Thursday, probably, since we're
I
having
didn't
a
get a
game.
shirt for that.
They're gonna
fall
come.
at the game. Really?
There's a bulldog game.
Oh, I won't get it.
Wait, when is that?
This Thursday?
Yeah. Are you
Okay,
not
so
gonna
what does commerce mean?
Trade.
Trade. Okay? So where's my text? So what do we get for number 5? What's the significance? What did we say? Eric?
It allows Congress to trade, which contributes to our national economy.
Okay, good. Yeah. Did anyone have anything different? Worded differently maybe? Zach?
We can trade with others in other countries, so it could help with
Okay. Yep. Okay, good. Both good answers. The Commerce Clause is talking about trade. Commerce means trade. So the significance of it is this sentence. The clause empowers the national government to promote trade and economic interdependence among the states. Okay? So all that's saying is the government can control trade here in the U.S. and trade across seas. So it gives us the ability to trade. Okay? Alright. So that is the end of 4.2.
Yay.
So we're going to move on to 4.3 today. We're looking at absolute and comparative advantage. So we're looking at the question of why in the U.S., since we have such a large population, why do we trade? Why don't we just make everything that we need, right? We have such a large population, why not? But we're going to look at absolute and comparative advantage, and this is going to help us answer this question. Okay? Okay. So if you haven't done so already, you can copy this term into your vocab packet. This is one of your terms. So, absolute advantage. This is when someone can produce a good or a service using fewer resources than someone else. Okay, that is the key. Fewer resources. Okay? So in other words, what this is saying, it's who can make more of something or collect more of something using less resources.
Can you put the AKA in
Yeah.
the example box?
Sure.
She wants to write this?
This is one of your vocabs, so if you haven't finished that,
What's that do?
try it.
So you don't want us to write down there? Or what?
No, just in your vocab.
One day we should have like a history day. We don't have school the next day, so it's just kind of leaves for don't. Wait, we don't have school.
ACTs.
Forget.
Okay, so remember, when we're talking about absolute advantage, we're talking about fewer resources. Who can do more using fewer resources? That is your key. Okay, good? Okay, so we're going to look at some examples of finding our absolute advantage. So, who has the absolute advantage in shoes? So we're looking at the shoe section. Which country makes more shoes? U.S. Very good. Okay, so shirts. Which country is making more shirts? Canada. Okay, they are making more, so they have the absolute advantage. Okay, in this scenario, they have the same amount of time, the same factors of production, all that stuff, so they are making more using less resources, right? They're not wasting time or whatever it might be. Okay, pretty simple. United States and Canada. All right, this comes directly from your book. Okay, so who has the absolute advantage in gathering turnips?
Pirates.
Pirate Jack, he has 30 turnips, where Selkirk only has 10. Okay? So who has the absolute advantage in clams? Pirate Jack again.
Jack. I thought that was.
This is absolute advantage.
I thought it was like using pure resources.
Right. Who has more using fewer resources?
Well, how do we know that?
Because the graph is telling you.
It doesn't tell you about the resources. though.
Well, it's just based off of your graph. Okay, so Pirate Jack. So in this instance, Pirate Jack has the absolute advantage of both. Okay? So this is where you might think, well, Pirate Jack is better off just working by himself then, because he does both of these better. Well, we're going to see otherwise when we look at our comparative advantage. Okay, so this is another term. If you'd like to copy it down. So comparative advantage is when someone can produce a good or service with a lower opportunity cost. And remember, we said opportunity cost is what you give up, it's what you lose. Okay, we good? Okay. All right, so how we calculate?
I'm not gonna do the answer for that.
We divide what you're making by what you're giving up. Okay, so you divide what you're making by your opportunity cost.
Would that be an example?
Yeah, sure. So you're dividing what you're making by what you're giving up. Okay, so a little bit of math. Okay, so here's our example. Who has the comparative advantage in shoes? Okay, so you're dividing what you're making, shoes, by what you're giving up, shirts. Okay, so let's look at the U.S. first. So the U.S. is making 100 shoes, we're giving up 80 shirts. So you divide 100 by 80. Okay, 1.25.
What is it you
What,
divide?
like, what would the unit be? Like, is that a percentage or what is the 1.25?
I don't know. My calculator. Okay.
What do you divide on? What do you call it? Divide what by what?
What you
Divide
make,
that.
what you're making for what you're giving up. Okay, so you're taking what you're making, shoes, by what you're giving up, shirts. So 100 by 80. Okay. Now Canada, we have to see who has the comparative